Oh, stay.
Am I
I like you in my
intimidating you?
space. No. I want you in my space.
Patience.
Said the guy who starred in Goonies, are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher. I feel genuinely hurt.
There's been non-stop buzz about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively supposedly getting the cold shoulder from Disney. The internet is in a frenzy over how a single incident or chain of incidents could drive such a powerful studio to cut ties with two beloved stars. Adding fuel is the suggestion that Hugh Jackman had a hand in revealing exactly what went down. The shocking part is how quickly it all spiraled. 1 minute, everything looked picture perfect for Ryan and Blake's image. The next, rumors say they're out of the Disney picture entirely. Fans want answers, and the gossip mills are spinning out scenario after scenario, each more dramatic than the last. Is there any truth to the accusations about meltdown meetings, stolen ideas, and hush-hush deals? There's a lot to unpack, so let's get right into the stories taking over every corner of social media. The talk first heated up when insiders dropped hints that Ryan Reynolds had a major behind-the-scenes blow-up during negotiations.
Meeting like when you're discussing with Disney the jokes about Disney.
He was just appalled at everything and was never going to let us do anything. But that's on one hand. On the other hand, money.
He's always appeared witty, charming, and downright impossible to dislike. How could someone so beloved lose it so thoroughly that Disney, one of the most cautious brand-conscious studios on the planet, would slam the door on him? Some sources paint the meltdown as a single explosive meeting that ended in raised voices and storming out. Others say it was more of a slow boil over days or even weeks, culminating in an incident so intense that executives felt betrayed. Either way, the meltdown rumor landed with a bang, leaving everyone reeling over how the star of blockbuster hits might have torpedoed his own relationship with the biggest name in entertainment. Before fans could catch their breath, another angle emerged. The controversy apparently also involves a comedic project called Nice Pool, which was either being pitched or partially developed under Disney's umbrella, or so the whispers go. That concept, as it turns out, may not have been Ryan's idea at all. Enter Justin Baldoni, an actor-director with a reputation for uplifting, heartfelt content.
That's what I love about acting. I get to live inside characters very different than myself. But every time I got one of these roles, I was surprised. Because most of the men I play ooze machismo, charisma, and power. And when I look in the mirror, that's just not how I see myself. But it was how Hollywood saw me.
He's a figure few expected to see in a conflict that features Marvel-adjacent superstars. Yet, rumor has it, Baldoni claimed Nice Pool was his brainchild, only to see Ryan present it in meetings as if it belonged to him. For a while, the drama flew under the radar, but now that the entire scandal's exploding, Baldoni's name keeps popping up in connection with a potential lawsuit alleging intellectual property theft. Speculation runs wild over what exactly Nice Pool was supposed to be. Some say it was a series of comedic sketches set around a pool where the laughs are laced with thoughtful commentary, very much in line with Baldoni's track record of combining entertainment and introspection. Others believe it was more straightforwardly comedic, but with just enough heart to stand out in a crowded content landscape. Either way, if Baldoni can prove he created it, and if Ryan really tried to sidestep him, that's a major problem. People love Reynolds for his wit, but no one wants to discover that behind the charm, he's been swiping someone else's concept. The rumor mill didn't stop there. Whispers claim that once Baldoni realized Ryan was taking credit for Nice Pool, he approached him to resolve things behind closed doors. Allegedly, he received silence, or worse, a brush-off. If you believe these accounts, Baldoni started gathering every scrap of evidence, from old emails to text messages. By the time the meltdown rumors reached him, it was the last straw. Lawyers got involved, and Disney found itself in the middle of a potential legal storm. That alone could have put Disney on high alert. Nobody wants to get dragged into a lawsuit over creative rights, especially if it involves a high-profile actor whose meltdown is already making waves. Meanwhile, the gossip swirling around Hugh Jackman is that he knew more than he let on.
But I've done a lot of things, like crazy things in Australia. You do understand you can't even get into preschool unless you take a person's life with your own bare hands. Twice.
He's had a friendly and occasionally mock-hostile rivalry with Ryan Reynolds for ages, mostly playing out his comedic jabs on social media. Yet, when the meltdown rumors surfaced, fans noticed Hugh's usual banter disappeared. No public jokes, no playful barbs, nothing but silence. Conspiracy theories flew like sparks. Did Hugh witness something? Did he try to step in? Or did Disney executives interview him as part of their investigation into Ryan's behavior? The hush around his usually cheeky social feed fueled the notion that Hugh dropped some kind of inside knowledge, possibly confirming what transpired in Ryan's meltdown or even tipping the scales at Disney. No one has pinned down exactly what he said, but the chatter is that his statements may have been so incriminating the studio felt it couldn't ignore them. Naturally, the internet latched onto Blake Lively's role in this chaos. She's been tied to Disney projects, and her brand is often intertwined with Ryan's. They're a power couple, known for witty public exchanges and philanthropic endeavors. If Disney truly gave them both the boot, that suggests the situation was dire. Some wonder if she tried to mitigate the damage, calling up Disney contacts or urging Ryan to apologize. Others think the meltdown tarnished them both enough that the studio wanted to wash its hands of any potential fallout. Public perception can turn on a dime, especially with rumors of shady conduct swirling. If Disney executives saw trouble on the horizon, they might have decided it was safer to break away entirely, no matter how big a box office draw Ryan typically is. Adding another layer is how quickly fans have turned. Ryan's comedic persona was rock solid for years, making him almost immune to bad press. But the meltdown story and the possibility he stole a concept from Baldoni undercuts that friendly image. Suddenly, people are questioning if the wisecracking star was manipulating colleagues behind the scenes. Social media is crawling with memes suggesting that the nicest guy in showbiz might have hidden a ruthless streak. The heartbreak is palpable for fans who adored him and saw him as a down-to-earth celebrity who engaged with them online. Now, they wonder if everything he did, from marketing stunts to witty commercials, was just a carefully orchestrated charade. Then come the alleged voicemails and text messaging. Depending on which insider you believe, these communications might confirm Ryan's meltdown or prove he was making deals without Disney's knowledge. Some claim recordings reveal him trashing Disney executives, insisting they were clueless about modern comedic tastes and vowing to find a better avenue for real humor. The idea that he might have stepped on multiple toes simultaneously, Disney's, Baldoni's, and possibly others, has fans speculating how deep his frustration ran. Could it have been a straightforward, creative disagreement that escalated? Or was it always about pushing boundaries until the studio had no choice but to draw a line? While the meltdown alone was enough to make tabloids salivate, the rumored lawsuit from Baldoni is what truly threatens to blow this wide open. Lawsuits mean discovery phases, depositions, and potentially public court documents. If there's a solid paper trail, it could publicly expose every detail of Ryan's meltdown, every claim that Disney executives ignored, and every piece of evidence proving who invented Nice Pool. The prospect has watchers glued to every update, knowing that if things progress in court, all the hush-hush details might get published for the world to see. In an age where scandal can rocket across social media in hours, the potential damage to reputations is staggering. Disney, of course, is a titan at managing PR, but even it could be caught off guard by a star meltdown of this magnitude. Insiders suggest the studio tried to do quite damage control, maybe a private settlement or a second round of talks with Reynolds to smooth everything over. Yet, the meltdown's momentum might have been too strong. If they had any inkling that Baldoni's evidence was overwhelming or that Hugh Jackman's revelations would destroy Ryan's family-friendly persona, it might have felt safer to sever the relationship quickly. In that sense, the abruptness of it all could be explained by a behind-the-scenes scramble to prevent worse fallout down the road. There's also chatter about how other major stars like Tom Holland, Brie Larson, or Dwayne Johnson are reacting behind closed doors. Ryan had developed a comedic rapport with some of them, especially The Rock. Collaboration between big personalities can be lucrative, but not if one of them is mired in scandal. Are they quietly distancing themselves or reaching out to see how bad it really is? The rumor mill can't decide. Some say the friendships remain strong and everyone's hoping it's just a bump in the road. Others say the fear of being tainted by association is real in Hollywood, where brand image can make or break deals. Fan theories about hidden motives or personal grudges are popping up everywhere. Why did Hugh Jackman allegedly spill details if he did? Possibly because he couldn't condone what Ryan did to Justin Baldoni. Or maybe Disney demanded a statement from him as part of an internal inquiry. Some take a darker angle. They claim Hugh saw a professional advantage in getting Ryan out of certain roles or overshadowing him in the Marvel sphere. So far, there's no proof he's that calculating, but Hollywood is notorious for alliances turning into rivalries overnight. Then you have the angle of Ryan's comedic empire. Over the years, he's leveraged his popularity into a range of ventures: marketing campaigns, ownership stakes in businesses, cameo deals, and more. If he has indeed used other people's ideas without proper credit, you can only imagine the scrutiny that might bring. Fans are already re-examining older collaborations, questioning whether certain jokes or concepts came from his creative partners. It's a disheartening turn for anyone who enjoyed seeing his comedic voice flourish from big screen hits to quirky social media videos. The Meltdown rumors also raise a question about mental strain and the pressure of being a top-tier star. Could Ryan have cracked under stress? People like to think celebrities are unflappable, but between overlapping commitments and high expectations, maybe the meltdown was a breaking point. That doesn't excuse wrongdoing if he really did take Baldoni's idea or verbally berate Disney staff, but it might be a piece of the puzzle. The entertainment industry can wear down even the most affable personality. Still, the harsh reality is that meltdown or no meltdown, studios will protect themselves from litigation first. For fans of Blake Lively, seeing her name dragged into this is upsetting. She's championed numerous philanthropic causes, presented herself as a role model, and generally stayed out of controversy. If Disney truly severed ties with her alongside Ryan, it hints that the meltdown had broader implications, or perhaps there were cross-project entanglements. Another possibility is that she's simply caught in the crossfire, guilty by association if the entire situation is too toxic for Disney to handle. Either way, she's been quieter than usual on public channels, leading some to speculate about what's going on behind the scenes of their marriage and brand. The next development people are watching for is an official statement from Ryan or his representatives. So far, it's been radio silence, which only fans the flames of gossip. In Hollywood, a swift denial can sometimes calm the waters. Letting rumors run rampant without any pushback suggests either they're preparing a more comprehensive response or the rumors are too close to the truth. Meanwhile, Baldoni has been posting cryptic messages about fighting for what's right, which many interpret as subtweets referencing the conflict. Every new post, or like on social media, becomes fodder for speculation. Who's supporting who, and which side of the meltdown story do they believe? On top of everything else, the comedic side of the internet has latched on to the meltdown as prime meme material. So many comedic edits and viral tweets frame Ryan as a real-life anti-hero, suggesting that the wisecracking persona was hiding something all along. It's one thing to lose a deal with Disney. It's quite another to lose public support. The comedic brand he built relies on fans believing he's genuinely good-humored. If they begin to suspect it's all an act, that changes the dynamic completely. Even if he weathers the legal storm, he might find it difficult to rebuild trust with viewers who feel betrayed. Disney, for its part, has maintained official silence on the meltdown, though there's word that top executives are preparing for potential court appearances if Baldoni's lawsuit proceeds. Imagine the headlines if those depositions go public, revealing the exact timeline of who pitched Nice Pool, when and under what circumstances. If the meltdown contained aggressive outbursts or manipulative tactics, hearing that detailed in court documents would be devastating for Ryan's reputation. The studio is likely hoping to stay out of it as much as possible, but it's not always that simple when you've been a central player in the drama. The real question is whether there's any path to redemption. Hollywood loves a comeback story, but that typically requires sincerity, ownership of mistakes, and a willingness to right wrongs. If Reynolds does indeed owe credit or even ownership to Baldoni, an out-of-court settlement or genuine apology might help. Yet, the meltdown narrative has overshadowed nearly everything. Even if the Nice Pool dispute gets resolved, people might still fixate on the meltdown itself. Was it truly as unhinged as rumors claim, or was it exaggerated by insiders who disliked Ryan for other reasons? There's another aspect. Could this meltdown and potential legal fiasco bleed into Ryan's existing partnership? He's famously built synergy with certain streaming platforms, marketing companies, and brand endorsements that rely on his comedic appeal. If the meltdown revelations paint him as a toxic presence or a liability, those partners might re-evaluate whether to keep him as the face of their campaigns. Public relations is a delicate business, and no brand wants to defend a star in the midst of a major scandal that threatens to go nuclear if lawsuits open the floodgates of evidence. People who've followed Reynolds' career from the early days are baffled by how quickly the tide has turned. One moment, he's the can-do-no-wrong actor beloved for revitalizing a certain wisecracking superhero, forging a comedic empire, and sharing playful banter with fans and co-stars. The next moment, his meltdown is making headlines with allegations of stolen concepts and furious backroom confrontations. It's a reminder that even the most carefully polished persona can crack under enough pressure. And in Tinseltown, once cracks form, the entire structure can come tumbling down if the public decides it no longer trusts the star behind it. Baldoni's role is especially intriguing. Known for directing heartfelt shows and championing philanthropic causes, he's never been pegged as someone who goes out of his way to stir controversy. If he's taking legal action, it suggests he feels genuinely wrong. That sense of moral righteousness could galvanize fans to support him, especially if he starts dropping details that confirm Ryan misrepresented the origins of Nice Pool. Once the legal system starts turning, the conversation might go from rumor to documented fact. And if that's where we're headed, the Meltdown fiasco would become more than just tabloid chatter. It'd be an official record that might haunt Reynolds for a very long time. Meanwhile, insiders who saw the meltdown firsthand are said to be negotiating whether to speak publicly, possibly in depositions or as part of some settlement. Disney's stance is likely to be minimal and controlled, but there's always the chance that one fed-up executive or assistant will leak a decisive piece of evidence. In an era of viral mania, it only takes one snippet of an audio recording or one screen capture of a text to shift public perception. If something like that surfaces, it might confirm or debunk the meltdown once and for all. Either way, it'll be explosive. Hugh Jackman's involvement remains one of the most talked about twists. He's typically the gentlest of Hollywood A-listers, rarely associated with scandal. Fans appreciate his philanthropic efforts, his down-to-earth demeanor, and his sense of humor. For him to step forward and share incriminating details against a friend or at least a comedic sparring partner was unthinkable until now. Whether he did so voluntarily or at Disney's request is an open question. Regardless, his name is now tied to the meltdown chatter, making people wonder if this entire storyline might include personal rifts, professional betrayals, or complex crossovers from their previous film collaborations. As for the ultimate fallout, everything hinges on the evidence. If Baldoni's paper trail is rock solid, and if the meltdown was recorded in any form, that's a double whammy. Proof that Ryan not only misbehaved, but also possibly tried to take credit for something he didn't create. If Ryan has a counter story, maybe Baldoni's concept was minimal, and Ryan did the heavy lifting, then the legal system will have to sort it out. In the court of public opinion, though, the meltdown rumor has already shifted many fans' loyalties. A clear piece of proof would be the final nail in the coffin, turning speculation into undeniable fact. Some watchers doubt Ryan's career is over, predicting that powerful allies could still champion him. Hollywood has seen bigger comebacks after more severe controversies. But the timeline of any potential redemption might be lengthy. Public trust isn't easily regained, especially if you built your brand on being the nicest, wittiest person in the room. Betraying that image, that's indeed what happened, tends to leave a permanent mark. Regardless of whether Disney's decision is final or a step in ongoing negotiations, the meltdown fiasco and the Nice Pool drama are likely to be cautionary tales for other celebrities. Success can vanish overnight if you alienate the people who helped you rise, or if you cross the wrong line in a crucial business deal. In the end, the rumor that Disney cut ties with both Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in one swift move underscores the magnitude of this scandal. Disney typically invests in bankable stars for the long haul. Stepping away from someone with Ryan's proven track record means the meltdown was perceived as more than just a passing spat. Add in Hugh Jackman's alleged revelations, Justin Baldoni's potential lawsuit, and the swirl of possible voicemails and hush-hush side deals, and you've got a perfect storm. The real question is whether we're seeing the final stages of a meltdown or just the beginning. With this many players, each with their own version of events, the story isn't likely to wrap up quietly. If there's one certainty, it's that the next few weeks or months will be a roller coaster. If official statements drop or court documents leak, everything could escalate further. We might see an apology tour, or we might see new accusations that push Ryan and Blake further from the industry's good graces. Either scenario is gripping for fans and observers alike because it reveals the unpredictable nature of Hollywood's power game. One day, you're everyone's favorite star. The next, you're at the epicenter of a meltdown rumor that could define your legacy. This is the reality of show business at its most dramatic, and everyone's watching to see who emerges unscathed and who's left picking up the pieces.